You open this door with the key of reason. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of truth. A dimension of freedom. A dimension of joy. You're moving into the land of both the ideal and the real, of the possible and the actual. You've just crossed over into the Capitalist Corner.
Where reason meets reality, welcome to the Capitalist Corner.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Capitalist Corner. I'm your host, Michael Liebowitz, riding solo today. Well, not really solo, because I do have you, the audience, here with me. Lovely Persephone backstage sipping on her Coca-Cola. So I think we're going to have a pretty good show today. As per usual, remember that we are in no way affiliated with the American Capitalist Party, although we are the chairman and vice chairman. I'm the vice chairman. Mark's the chairman of the party. My Rational Egoist still has an excellent episode with Jim Valiant. I'm hoping that there will be one out tomorrow. I interviewed an entrepreneur. That should be great. Remember my 2:30 show, Everyday Ethics. And other than that, let's get the talking going. Maybe I'm going to send something to Mark so that he shares this. He remembers to share it from here, even though he's not here today. I have lost 6 followers on X in the last 2 days. I think it's because I'm arguing with these anarcho-objectivist claimers. So let me send this to Mark. We've got a super fucking chat, I see, that is in the background here. Let me just hit this. Mark. Share it. All right. It's been delivered, so hopefully Mark will do the sharing. So the super fucking chat from the great Robert Naser, and it is pronounced Naser. Don't listen to what the naysayers have to say. He says, just in case anyone didn't get why the Department of Defense was renamed the Department of War, well, now you know, brace yourself. Friends, are we going to war with Venezuela? Is that what you are referencing? I think probably. It just seems like it's war, and more war all the time. So yesterday, the Federal Reserve actually cut their interest rate. Let me get over there and we can, so I can see just how much this was by. All right, here. So the Federal Reserve announced a 0.25% cut in benchmark rates yesterday, bringing the range between 3.5% and 3.75%. Markets closed higher on the news. Big surprise. The decision was unusually split. First of all, lower rates, you're putting more money into the economy while inflation hasn't cooled down yet, which is problematic, of course. But more what I have the problem with this is that Trump is constantly jawboning the Fed about lowering rates. And he's doing it for the very reason that we see. The markets were up on the news. Of course they are, because they're going to have more cash. More cash means more cash to invest. But it's not good to set rates below what the market would have them be. You end up with the business cycle, the inflationary boom, followed by the crash. But the fact that the Federal Reserve is supposed to be separate from politics, jawboning them, it makes it less and less. Not that it ever was completely, but they at least tried to hold up appearances. But yeah, as Robert Naser says, Chairman Powell says, please, basically he tells him, please manipulate the economy more, please, please. Basically, yeah, that's what it is. We don't want the government interfering with the economy, whether it be interest rates, prices, regulations on, emissions, or any of that dumb stuff. We don't want the government to do that. Lee Frazier, the reason I have the bar covering my name is because everybody here knows my name. And if you don't, it's Michael Liebowitz. But the bottom line is we need people to see that there we have the Capitalist Corner website and the Patreon website. So that we do have these super fucking chats and the super fucking stickers. But yeah, I'm hoping to have Robert Mulligan on soon, the great economist we had on the other day, so we can further discuss this whole idea. You can't move the barley, please. The whole idea of the business cycle and what interest rates do to the business cycle. So that should be good. Another story here from the 1440 Daily Digest. That's where the other story came from too. I actually like 1440. It touts itself as a non-biased news source, and I find it to be very good. The Department of Homeland Security signed a $140 million contract Boeing 737 planes that the agency will use for deportations, reports revealed yesterday. The DHS penned the deal with, I don't know how to pronounce that. It looks like Daedalus Aviation, a Virginia-based company whose leadership also signed a separate nearly $1 billion contract with the agency to support self-deportations. So these deportations, first of all, are terrible. But the problem is you don't get sort of policy that's just divorced from context, right? So it's bad enough that you're deporting people, but it costs a lot of money to do this, and it costs a lot of havoc, and it ends up violating a lot of rights, pulling ICE agents. And this stuff has secondary effects that are not intended, unintended consequences. That's the big thing to always worry about with economics, is the seen and the unseen. You have your initial consequence. You want to get people out of the country, but what are the secondary effects? American citizens getting round up, people who are here legally getting round up, a lot of money being spent. We already know that the Rosie Ginsburg is here. Oh my freaking God. Rozzy, now that you're here, let me ask you a quick question. You shared with me yesterday the very brief advertisement for the Irreducible Spark. Can I share that to my producer here so we can post it and play it here, Rozzy? We really do need to know this. The place behind me, by the way, is Carpenter's Hall in Pennsylvania. It's where the Declaration of Independence was drafted. But yeah, so you end up with these secondary effects that yes, he says, okay. So while I'm running my mouth, Persephone, I'm going to go get this. I'm going to share it to you, and then you can post it here so that we can get it. It's going to take a few minutes. Rosie Ginsburg, as you all know, is a very wealthy man. He's a very wealthy entrepreneur. He's the head of the Ayn Rand Center UK. He puts out content every day. He's got stuff on the weekend with James. James teaches Constitution classes. He teaches OPAR stuff. All, at the behest of Rosie, who is, your typical robber baron, drives his employees into the ground. That's his jam. Nothing. I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. If I had Rosie's money, I'd be happy too. Okay, here it is. All right. No, that's not the way to do it. Yeah, I'm against, look, they love you, Rosie, already. Nice to meet you. They're saying, don't you, listen, he's got content on right now, Rosie. I swear to God, if you come over here and start siphoning my audience, we might have a big problem. I know everybody's getting upset because I'm worried about this right now. I promise you, 100%, I promise you, this is going to be worth it for you. I just got a text from Mark. He texts at the worst times. All right, it's almost finished. I'm going to get it right to Persephone. Mark is bragging about tripling the numbers. Yes, Mark, thank you very much. But you're interfering with my upload job here. I'm trying to upload, and you are in the way. All right, share. All right. I absolutely promise you, audience, this, I sent it through Google Drive, Persephone. This is going to be so wonderful when you get to watch this video. Rosie Ginsburg is an absolute genius for this video. You've got to respect this guy. And, I kid about how wealthy he is. I mean, it's not kidding about it. He is really rich. But Rosie is like one of the funnest guys to hang out with, too. Rosie, Robert Nasser. Okay, I'm going to play this now so that we can get a good look. This is great. I promise you're going to love it.
Where you look to find good, inspiring people. The place to do that is the Irreplaceable Spark Conference, which is taking place October 17th and 18th of next year in Austin, Texas at the Westin at the Domain in Austin. It's a great hotel. It's going to be a great conference. Tickets are on sale now, early bird prices, so make sure you sign up. We will announce many speakers very soon. We've announced one so far. Yeah, I believe Michael Liebowitz, this is the time of day where he's done siphoning my viewers, and he's probably now sitting, working on his talk for next year. If you don't know who Michael Liebowitz is, you really should. He has an amazing story. If you, this is what he looks like. I think we have a picture, right, Michael? If Michael Daniel will show. Wait, no, not that one. Do we have a different picture of Michael Liebowitz? Okay, maybe not that one. It's a different one. Yeah, Michael Liebowitz of the Rational Egoist podcast and the Capitalist Corner is going to be speaking at the Irreplaceable Spark. Make sure you get your tickets now.
I told you it would be worth it. I absolutely told you, and you should go check out Rosie Ginsburg, Ayn Rand Center, United Kingdom, and you absolutely should attend the Irreplaceable Spark in person. I will be there. And I got to tell you, he says there's going to be a lot of speakers. I think he just needs me. I think that once I'm there to put on the show and people hear me, they will go absolutely sick. They're going to love it. It's going to be fantastic. You know what's not fantastic? Well, the Hill trying to get me to donate money is not fantastic. But President Trump, this is from the Hill, if you didn't know already. President Trump said Wednesday that the U.S. has seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela, the latest escalation in what has become an increasingly tense relationship between the two countries. He says, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, a large tanker, very large, he says, and other things are happening. He did not provide additional details, but he did tell reporters that they will be hearing from the appropriate people soon. He says it was seized for very good reason. Who believes that? Does anybody? Robert, it is the Irreplaceable Liebowitz, but sir, you have got to spell my name correctly. It's Lieb. You see. So now I forgot what the hell I was going to say. Robert, you messed me all up. No, I did not. It seems to me, just speculation, that Trump is very concerned with the oil in Venezuela. That seems to me what he is after, what he is going for is the oil and nothing else. Under the guise that the fentanyl's coming from there, even though the fentanyl's not coming from there, the coke is coming from there. The cocaine is coming from Venezuela. But I don't care. If people want to do cocaine, it doesn't make a difference to me. If people want to do heroin, that's their business. It's not mine. It certainly doesn't justify using force against them. It sure as hell doesn't justify dropping bombs on them. And it definitely doesn't justify seizing oil tankers, right? But it's escalation. Remember, Trump was going to be the peace president. Do you remember? Who remembers that? Now, I remember pre-Trump becoming president, I made this point to a lot of these libertarians who were endorsing him as the peace president. The guy already said he's going to go to war and strike cartels outside of the country. And they're like, blah, 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 blah. I think some of them said it's bluster, it's whatever. Okay, it's bluster. Now it's happening. We don't even know that they're actually cartels. Trump says they're cartels, but what the hell? He lies so goddamn much. Oh, I shouldn't say goddamn. There's people that might be offended. What do I care? Did you see me, by the way, with the rabbi outfit that they put me in? Did you see that? That was actually done. I did a favor, and look how they treated me with that picture. I did a favor and I stood in. Rosie was getting ready for a debate and I stood in as the prep guy. And the guy was a very religious Jewish politician from Israel that he was going to be debating. And I stepped in and was helping him prep. I took on the role of that guy. And look what they did. Look how they dressed me up. Although I got to tell you, I think I looked adorable. If we're going to be honest, Persephone's nodding yes, but well, we all know what that's about. Let me see what else we got for stories here. What do I got up there? Oh, the influencer feuds. Who has seen these influencer feuds we got going on in the MAGAverse? A whole lot of them. We've got the, you've got the grifters extraordinaire, like your, thank you, Race, for calling me Beefcake. My phone became unplugged and I don't want it to die on me, so let me get it out here. Rozzy says I looked great and I won that debate. He owes me a trip on his jet. You do. That was not good for me to win that debate either, Rozzy. I mean, really, I took positions that I don't hold at all. At all. But I'm just like somebody mentioned, my tongue. Jesus Christ. Maybe I'll change the topic. I talk fast, talk very rapidly. It has a lot to do with the caffeine, I think, but whatever. I digress. But the point was, it was a fun debate with Rozzy. Rozzy's wonderful. Check out the ARC UK. They actually gave me my start, not my start as a podcaster, but they kind of introduced me to the objectivist world. As I used to be a regular on their one of their shows, the reality show. Good content, good stuff, good people. So anyways, we've got we've got Candace Owens, we've got Tucker Carlson, we've got Tim Pool's involved, Benny Johnson, TP USA, the Turning Point USA, the place that was the Charlie Kirk place. And the interesting thing to me, or one of the interesting thing to me, is it's difficult to know when they're grifting and when they're serious. Like, I mean, it's obvious. Well, maybe it's not so obvious. Candace Owens promotes a lot of anti-Semitic garbage, conspiracy theories, bullshit like that, right? Does she really believe it? Hell if I know. I mean, she's changed her opinions in the past in order to get attention, in order to get views. Maybe she's doing that now. I don't know, but that's putting her at odds with the Tim Pools of the world, the Ben Shapiros of the world. Then this other guy, he's now arguing with Benny Johnson. Tucker Carlson, of course, is arguing with Ted Cruz and Ben Shapiro, John Podhoretz, John Podhoretz. I don't know how to pronounce it. But either way, these people are having a lot of problems, a lot of issues, which I'm fine with. I got to tell you, the whole grift machine that's on social media is something I really, really, really abhor. It's not something that I like even a little bit. Let me find this. Speaking of that, let me find this other story. Maybe it's not here. Oh, okay, here it is. This is from a post on X. And remember, folks, these super fucking chats and super fucking stickers are working. And just so you know, Rozzy, before you start pointing those big Israeli fingers at me for swearing, that I got the idea to call them that from the great Robert Nasser, who last time I knew was a part of the ARC UK and did shows over there. That's where I met him. Anyways, this is a post from a guy named Pedro L. Gonzalez, and he says one of the biggest misconceptions of our time was the idea that truth would flourish in the absence of censorship in digital spaces. The opposite has happened. Truth gets trampled to death daily by psychopathic grifters in an arms race to develop the most outrageous, insane theories of politics in the world, because what sells is what's entertaining, not what is true. That is very, very, very true, folks. And not only that, but it ties into the previous story about the MAGA influencers fighting, because you really don't know. You really just don't know if they are serious, if they like each other, or, if it's just a big grift. Nobody really knows. So, social media, I have a love-hate relationship with it. It's great for promotion. I've met a lot of good people there, but there's also a lot of disgusting people on there. And as the wonderful Rozzy has told me in the past, I have like a hard head where I get involved with these idiots on social media. Not as bad as Mark. Mark is harder headed than I am. Mark is much worse, but I do get too much involved with them where I should not be getting involved with them. You know what I mean? Just to be honest, but it's disheartening that discourse, which should be, the place where ideas are shared, where logic reigns, where we're seeking truth out, is a place where people resort to petty insults, grifting, and spreading conspiracy theories and the like. So there's an article today. Maybe I'll share this right now, matter of fact, to X. And the article is about the ancient socialist calculation debate. The socialist calculation debate, of course, was spurred by von Mises. He wrote an essay, but then he, of course, wrote a great book called Socialism, where he demonstrated that economic calculation under socialism is impossible. The reason it's impossible is because prices reflect the choices of people. They emerge as a result of the values that people hold, of what people want. Those prices in turn send messages about what producers are going to produce, what avenues entrepreneurs will take, what enterprises will be profitable. They're not perfect, but that's the role that they serve. But when you have collective ownership, what ends up happening is you don't have money, you don't have prices, you don't know what people want. You end up with exorbitant bread lines in one instance, while you have warehouses full of crap that nobody wants on the other. And so what this guy says, and this is great because it's talking about how, and I've heard this before, people have told me, yes, but with the advent of modern technology, they should be able to solve this problem. And he points out, no, because, and this is why, the calculation problem is not a computational problem. It's an epistemic problem. It isn't that it was too hard to gather the necessary data and do the required calculations in 1920 when Ludwig von Mises published Economic Calculation in the Socialist Commonwealth. That's the aforementioned article, not the book. Or Hayek wrote The Use of Knowledge in Society in 1945. He says, nor was it difficult in December 2022 when generative AI was in its infancy. But he says that the problem is that the data don't exist unless the means of production are bought and sold in free markets, which means that modern techno-socialists enamored with generative AI as the technology that will finally solve the calculation problem are missing the point. Yes, they're missing the point. They don't understand that the information simply is not there. If people aren't spending money making choices, buying and selling, it's just not there. Now, the question, I guess, becomes, and I always ask this question, right? Ayn Rand absolutely destroyed socialism, collectivism, everything by the moral case she made against these things. She absolutely destroyed them. Ludwig von Mises absolutely destroyed the economic case for socialism. But yet here we are, 2025, and we have an American capitalist party out there touting the virtues of Stalin and Mao. And we have Bernie Sanders, who calls himself a democratic socialist, AOC. We have Mamdani just elected in New York, and there's another guy going to be elected in Seattle. Jenna Kleem has given a super fucking chat just to hear her name on my show. Jenna Kleem, Jenna Kleem, Jenna Kleem, Jenna Kleem. You heard it multiple times. You are a sweetheart and very sexy too, if I don't say so. Okay, now, so back to socialism. It continues to make headway. And on the right, the so-called pro-capitalists, the Trumpsters, these guys are buying shares in private companies. They're implementing tariffs. They want price controls. They want to regulate social media. Everywhere you turn, it's collectivism, and it's intrusive government that wants to regulate the economy. And I had a interesting discussion with Sheldon Richman the other day. Sheldon Richman's the great libertarian, influenced by Ayn Rand, not an objectivist, but still, he's a great libertarian and an anarchist. And he and I were discussing it, and I told him because he said that the problem with constitutions is, public choice theory, basically, that the incentives of the people that are working in government are such as to expand their power, while the average citizen, their interest lies in satisfying their own lives, so they don't have time to focus on government. But the fact of the matter is, people by and large want big government. People by and large want social safety nuts. They don't want safety nuts. What people want is a social safety net. They want wealth redistributions. They want minimum wages. They want regulations. And until that changes, I don't care what constitution you put in. I don't care what system you're advocating. I wouldn't care if the entire government collapsed today. As long as you control things, the government's going to control things. The government is responding to the wishes of the sainted American people. All right, let me find I've been running my mouth now for 25 minutes. I hope everybody appreciates that. I have a cold sore. You can't see it. I don't even know where it is, but it's very painful. It hurts like hell. I bought this stuff here. I don't know if you can see it. Abreva this morning. Doesn't really work too well, so I called my doctor. He's going to prescribe me the wonder drug. But nonetheless, even cold sore in tow, I am here to run my mouth. Persephone, for the first time, is not looking at me endearingly and longingly. Am I glitching, Persephone? No, it's you, Kaya. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dear. Lee Frazier says I'm glitching. I don't know. Everyone says I'm glitching, Persephone. Now everybody's saying it. Yes. It's me. Occasional freeze frames. It may be something I can do nothing about. I don't know. I'm showing 100% here on the reception, so it might be something in the air. I don't know. Let me know if it gets better. I hope it does. If it doesn't, I apologize, but it's not something that I really can do. Hold on. Let's see something. All right. Hopefully it'll work better. It is what it is, Robert. Yes. I hate that saying. When people tell me, it is what it is. Well, wouldn't it have to be? Like, wouldn't it absolutely have to be what it is? Otherwise, did I just see Jim Valiant here? Jim Valiant, who told me he could not be here today, but yet he's in the audience. They're saying it's worse, Persephone. I don't know. But I'm going to go to another story. If it glitches, it glitches. I apologize. I'm sorry. There's not much I can do about it. Maybe it's YouTube. Jim says he's only here briefly. Jim and I have got some great stuff coming out in the future. We are going to be taking down libertarians left and right. Jim and I are just going to be badass. All right, let's see. This is a good story here from Reason Magazine. I'm not blaming big tech. It could be something in the atmosphere. Somebody in the audience blamed YouTube, not me. That wasn't my thing, Gary. Gary, by the way, you better be at the Irreplaceable Spark when I'm there speaking. I really, really hope you show up. I hope everybody here shows up. Although I know some of you are foreigners and maybe can't make it because you're not in a great country like America. You're in there and the backwoods somewhere. But whatever. The Trump administration bails out big seed oil, which is interesting because they put tariffs on the stuff that these farmers need. And so the farmers are losing money. So now they're going to bail them out for the problem they caused in the first place, all while RFK Jr. at the health department is bitching about seed oils and how harmful they are. And we need to get people off of them. We are going to fund them so that we can make sure they keep putting out their products. Folks, this is government. Like, we do not want the government running much, right? Like, they are very terrible at it. Another thing I told Sheldon Richman, here's an interesting story. I want you to remember what I just said about the seed oils, though, because it's a contradictory position on the part of the administration, and that's always good to know. So years ago, maybe 2008, I want to say, I had a laissez-faire books catalog. Jim Valiant. Oh, look at this. I'll tell that story in a second because we are first going to answer the question of Rock Chartrand, who gives us a super fucking chat coming from, where's this from? Oh, California. He says, who does more damage to the cause of freedom? Those who are openly socialist or those who are closet socialist while accepting a capitalist label? Hell if I know. I think what does the most damage, it depends. Like, and I don't know who does the most damage, but I know none of it is good, right? So you have people that confuse Trump with capitalism. That, of course, isn't good. You have people who think there's anarcho-objectivists, for instance. That's not good. You have people that think capitalism is anarchy. That's not good. You have people that think capitalism is bailouts for corporations. I don't know what the biggest problem there is, and I don't even know if it could ever actually be calculated, but I think it's all problematic, and it all requires intellectual ammunition to fight, and that's what we're here for, of course, is to fight it. I fight it on social media probably more than I even should be, but, to quote the great Robert Nasser, it is what it is. So, back to my story. In 2008, I had a laissez-faire books catalog. Jim Valiant actually used to work at laissez-faire books when it was just a brick and mortar store. Let me take a sip of this. Maybe it'll help. Anyway, so within there, they had a CD set from the Nathaniel Branden Institute days, and it was called the Principles of Efficient Thinking. It was a course put out by Barbara Branden. Order it. Now, to order CDs like that in prison, not from their catalog, but outside the place, you got to go through a lot. So I had to go through the counselor who then sent me to the school, and I had to get permission up and down. And then I had to get the money. And so I had the money. I gave them the money in the form of, we give them like these little forms you fill out, and then they take the money off your account. So I did that. And the CDs never came. And I'm like, what the hell? So finally, I just put a stop on the check. I said, I want my money back because these CDs aren't coming. They said they never received it at laissez-faire. So, okay, 5 years later, I get a return to sender under the door. Dirty, crinkled up, everything. It was my envelope in my order for the laissez-faire books stuff, the Barbara Branden course. That's what government does. Make no mistake. The prison system is government. They couldn't even manage to put an envelope in a goddamn mailbox and get me what I needed. That is not good, folks. We are way up in viewers. I thank the great Mark Pellegrino for that. He may have abandoned me today and left me on my own, but he did share this to X and got us a lot of viewers. So that's awesome. Persephone's smiling now. That's good, Persephone. I'm glad that you find it entertaining that I was abandoned here with my cold sore all by myself. But we have gotten some super fucking chats, super fucking stickers. So that's good. All right, let me see what else we got here. The knowledge problem, we covered that. Maha covered that. Oh, okay. While Trump, this is from the Free Press. Oh, yes. Like, subscribe, share from YouTube to your favorite social media sites. Please do so. I think we have great content here on a daily basis, every day, 12 to 1, except for 12 to 1 Eastern time, except for Persephone, you're confusing me. Except for this upcoming Tuesday, because I will be in New York watching the Soho Forum debates. Gary Menard gives a super fucking sticker right here. Boom, look at that. Mic drop on Gary Menard's part. That is awesome. Gary, what a nice guy he is. I've been Facebook friends with him for a long time, and then I met him at Rozzy's function in Boston, who was great. All right, so anyways, while Trump rates the economy an A++, a political poll found that nearly hard to pay for food, and a majority blamed the Trump administration for high prices. More than a quarter said they had skipped a medical checkup in the last 2 years because of costs. Who's right? The people or the Trumpster? I'm inclined to believe the people. Now, there is a dynamic, I'm not going to deny this, that happens, where people are doing well, but they think that everybody else is doing badly, so they judge the economy harshly. But this here from the Politico says that half of Americans are finding it hard to pay for food. So they're saying it's just, it's their personal lives that are being affected. Now, I don't like to blame the president in a first year of administration for all the woes. I mean, these things sometimes take years to manifest themselves. But I have to say, the Trumpster says he's going to fix everything. Doesn't seem he did. That's a problem. It denies what's going on. You cannot, well, you can because you're a liar, but you shouldn't deny what is actually going on, what the people are actually experiencing. Donald, your policies are not the silver bullet you thought they were going to be. And in fact, once they really hit, a lot of them are going to be very, very, very counterproductive. Robert Naser says, subscribe and then listen up. Heck, Michael, spelled Liebowitz, along with Valiant, Ginsburg, and me in the chat. How can you resist? My God, you've got a good point. Good point. And a super fucking sticker coming just on time from No Name. Super sticker. Euro, 90.99. 99, $1.99. Sorry, not 90.99. She's not that rich. Persephone is, though. Persephone, I think, might be as wealthy as Rosie Ginsburg. I'm not sure. She hides that information from us. She doesn't tell us what's going on. But I did see a lion, I think, in the background. And generally, rich people are the ones with the lions. Like in Donnie, what was that? Donnie Brasco. Anyway, all right. So what do you think of this? Just last week, Diego canceled all of his health insurances through his business because he can't afford it. He needs the money. That's tough, man. That is tough. Anyways, Eileen, sorry to brush you off, but I want to get to the next story. Diego, you are a wonderful fan. You're great on the show. You keep Persephone laughing and smiling all the time. When she's not smiling at me and batting her eyes at me, she's laughing at folks. Okay. Eileen Higgins won the Miami mayor's race Tuesday night. She will become the first Democrat to hold the office in nearly 30 years, and many see her victory as a sign of how Trump's immigration crackdown is alienating Hispanic voters. The Democrats also narrowly flipped a solidly Republican state House seat in Georgia. I am going to go out on a limb here and say that the Democrats are going to win big in 2026. That's my prediction. I predict the economy will get worse and the Democrats are going to win big. I think people are going to be sick of Trump by then. I think he won largely because of the buffoons he was running against. First Biden and then Harris. And I don't think the Dems will be as dumb next time. We'll see. What do you think of this? I know we got a lot of Israel supporters in the audience. I consider myself a lukewarm Israel supporter. What I mean by that is I think that Israel is correct in their war. I don't think they are perfect, and I don't think we should be funding them. Nevertheless, I'm curious what you think of this. Trump plans to appoint U.S. general to lead the Gaza security force. Is that not a portent of things to come? He assures us there will not be boots on the ground in Gaza, American boots on the ground. It says here, White House officials stress there will be no U.S. boots on the ground in Gaza. I'm inclined to think there will be. I don't know, obviously, but that's how these things normally work. We have mission creep. And things get worse and worse. And the fact that an American general is going to be appointed to head this thing, I think is a bad, bad sign. No Name. The person on the cup is my best friend. That is Brent McCall. He's incarcerated. He's been incarcerated for way, way, way too long. I really think that he should be let out of prison. He did horrible things. I don't deny that, but 30 years in prison, I think for what he did is long enough, especially given the amount of effort that he put in to change his life, the character he now has, and the value that he would provide should he be released. So that's who he is. I don't know who ITAC is. Diego, the ITAC war. I don't know what you're yammering about there. All right, what else? It appears that Kristi Noem is not getting along with Tom Homan in the Trump administration. I don't know how important that is. I don't know how interesting I even find it. But the word from the inside is that Trump is not planning on getting rid of either one of them. Now, the thing is, they're both loyal to Trump. So people are talking about how in the last administration, the last Trump administration, there was a lot of turnover with him firing a lot of people. But these people are loyal to him. So I guess it doesn't matter how much they suck or how much they're arguing with each other, how counterproductive it is. The only thing that matters is loyalty to the Donald. That's what the Donald values above all else. If you kiss his big orange ass, he likes you. If you refuse to kiss the big orange ass, he doesn't like you. So that is the way to go. All right. Do we have any good questions? I need questions coming from the audience. I see. The thing is, when it's just me going through the stories, it's half of the talking because normally Mark does the other half. So I've actually gone longer. I've gone 40 minutes, which is more than half. So I'm going to need some help from you, the audience. The hag? Who's the hag, Jenna? Oh, I think Jenna is calling Christy Nome a hag. Okay, we're having a conversation in the chat about movies, Persephone. I need you to focus. I need someone to interrupt. Yes, that is what I need. Let's see. Persephone, give some advertisements for our Patreon. Why don't we do that? You should be ready for this. I don't know why you're all confused.
Everybody should subscribe to the Patreon because at least twice a month they do an amazing Q&A, and a couple of times a month there are extra discussions about interesting topics like Israel, and they did a deep dive on the Jacobin article. And if you do subscribe to the Patreon now, there for you to watch if you are a paid subscriber. It's late and it's hot, and that's all I can think of. Oh, and they will...
for God's sakes, you're in marketing. Do a commercial. You're not.
No.
You're not.
I am in marketing, but I refuse to do a commercial.
Why?
No, everybody should subscribe. That's my commercial. Everybody should subscribe to the Patreon because there's amazing content and more all the time.
Wow,
and you can ask all sorts of philosophical and political questions and get direct answers.
If you subscribe to our Patreon, you have access to a lot more content. You will have access to wonderful philosophical discussions that Mark and I have. Sometimes we even do debates on the Patreon, which is wonderful. We also answer questions and interact with the audience. It does, however, depend on the level to which you are subscribed. I don't understand the levels. I just know that you pay more. You can get one-on-ones with us and have personal chats. There's all kinds of wonderful stuff. So, Persephone, explain the levels.
So there are 4 tiers to the Patreon. So you
tiers, not levels.
Tiers. There are 4 tiers to the Patreon. So you can be a friend of the show, which is $5, which means that you get to ask any questions and get written answers from Mark and Michael about political or philosophical questions. We've had a lot of great questions and a lot of really great answers happening there. Then there's the $15 tier where you get to watch the extra discussions and debates live in the Zoom gallery. Then there's the $100 tier. You get a group call once a month, which is just like a live chat with Mark and Michael. And then the highest tier, which is $200, then you get a one-on-one once a month with Mark and Michael, just you. You can ask whatever you want, have a discussion, ask questions. It's great fun.
And there's been talk, there's rumors that we may have a calendar coming up where Mark, Jim Valiant, and I are shirtless. So that's something for Diego. Just putting it out there. I could not have Brent on the show. I would absolutely love to if it were possible, but he can only call me collect. And so it's through a telephone, unless there's a way, if somebody knows how to route a telephone through the computer, then I would do that. Jack Shop read The Morality of Emergencies yesterday. Awesome. We could talk about that. When, Persephone? 2:30 today on my show, Everyday Ethics.
Absolutely. I was just thinking, if you do a Zoom, you can dial in to the Zoom.
I can't. Yeah, Brent cannot do Zoom from prison. They don't have that.
No, but he can dial in with a phone.
Oh, he can? I can put it on my computer?
So if he phones, they give you a number that he can phone, and then he can be on the Zoom even though he's just talking on the phone.
Brent McCall will not be going into podcasting. No, Brent is a world-class carpenter. When I say that, I am telling this dude, Persephone, just talk for a minute. I want to find something so I can send to you so you could post of Brent's work. Just tell, Rock Chartrand gives $5. If it were not, let me see.
If we're not supposed to call politicians socialists and fascists, then what do we call them when everything they push is textbook anti-capitalism?
Welfare statists. If they're welfare statists, then we call them welfare statists. We don't, we ought not, I should say. Let me see here. Okay, I'll just show this because it's easy enough to do.
I'm just going through the comments to see if there's any questions. Subby wants to know if that's why you don't speak to him because he needs to pay you.
He does, yeah. It would also help if he never mind. He walks around topless plenty. But anyway, so Rock, yeah, I'm not a big fan of calling people socialists when they're not, or calling them fascists. When you do that, it waters down the concept, and then people tend to not believe it. So then when the real thing comes, welfare statist is not, it's a mixture of capitalism and socialism. So I'm very big on accuracy in what we are what we are doing and what we are saying. Let me see if I can't get this over here real quickly. If I got it, Persephone, I need you to tell a story. Let me ask you a question, Persephone. Since you've been doing this show with us, have you learned anything about capitalism, about freedom, economics, or anything? What's it been like for you? What's your experience doing this?
Yes, I have learned a lot of things. I feel like I've solidified my position on a lot of other things, not necessarily about just capitalism, but also about my own ethical position on a lot of things. I have lost some friends because of this.
How do I get, hold on one second. How do I get this now? It's in my downloads. What do I have to click to get this picture? This plus thing? No.
Yes. The thing that says present.
Okay. Click that. Okay. It says invite guests, share screen, slides and PDFs.
Is it an image? It said image file.
Image file. Yeah. Hit that.
Yeah.
And that'll go to my, oh yeah, it did. Okay, good. You're right. I can't wait to show people this thing. Do you see that?
Not yet.
It's up on the screen.
Yes.
You see it. See it. Okay. Brent made that. That is made out of wood.
That's amazing.
It's made out of wood from broken pallets. Is that not freaking phenomenal? I mean, seriously. I mean, he's my friend. I don't want people to shine me on, but that's freaking impressive to me. He built that in prison out of broken pallets. So it's not even like it's good, high quality wood. That's the caliber of work that dude does.
That is really impressive.
I think so. He's absolutely phenomenal at that stuff. So why have you lost friends, Persephone?
Because a lot of my friends hold very different positions, and they are probably a lot more outspoken than I am, and they are more like, if capitalism, if this is a thing that you agree with and you think that this is the right move, that basically means you're evil. If you don't agree that Palestine is the innocent victim and that Israel is evil, then you're evil. And so there's just been, a lot of tension in some of my personal relationships because of that, which is fun.
Mr. Deagle says they were bad friends anyway.
Absolutely. They definitely were.
Now, were they even willing to hear you out or hear your positions on things?
No, because they assume that because they have a position that is more popular, that they are correct, and there was no convincing them otherwise. We did have a lot of very long, very passionate discussions about a lot of these things,
Yeah.
and it just ended with we are never going to agree, and sort of just stopped talking to each other because how do you reconcile if you have such huge differences and the other person can't look past these differences that you have, then there is no salvaging that relationship.
Well, I'm sorry that's happened, but like Mr. Deagle said, they weren't real friends anyway. Oh, look at this. Just because I finally can, I gotta share the love from Katie Ellis. Thank you so much, Katie, for the super fucking chat. Very excited about that. Thank you very, 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 very much. All right, I want to, somebody asked a question here. Jack Shop asked a question. Are there anti-authoritarian fascist or socialist or anti-welfare state fascist socialist? I don't know, because it's going to hinge on what you mean by authoritarian. To me, somebody who thinks that they have the right to take people's money from them and redistribute it and give it to things that person doesn't want to spend it on, I would call that an authoritarian. So my answer to your question would be no. But I think a lot will hinge on that.
Race also had a question. Would Venezuela be justified in using force against Trump's moves? Would it be retaliatory force?
Oh, God, it's a tough question, because how do we say Venezuela, a socialist country, is justified in doing anything? Right. So it's a very difficult question to ask. Ian Gilmore says yes. By the rules of war, I think probably, but rules of morality, it's hard for me to conceptualize a way in which Venezuela would be justified in any action that they take. So that's my answer. I'm going to say it's unjust for Trump to do it, and I don't know if it would be unjust for them to respond. I do think that it's against America's interests for Trump to be doing that sort of thing. For sure. That much I will say. All right, if we have no more questions, I'm going to have to wrap up early today, especially because I have stuff to do and I need Persephone to help me with some stuff. So are there any other questions? Anybody have anything they want to say? Anything they want to add? If you do, feel free. All right, I need to tell you, remember, like, share, and subscribe this show. Do so from YouTube to your favorite social media programs. Also, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time today, my show, Everyday Ethics, will be live on this very channel. It also streams to X. So if you go to my X page, you can get it there. I think it's a good show. We're just starting out, but we do have some good discussions. And so I do think it will be good. I haven't yet thought of a topic. I will have to think of that in the next few minutes so that I can set the whole thing up. What about Christmas? What about it? I don't know what you mean. What about Christmas? I like Christmas. I don't know what else to say about it. What could be a good capitalist thought of the day? The capitalist thought of the day isn't going to be just about capitalism. It's going to be about life in general. Whenever you grow as a human being, whenever you take strides to be better, whenever you learn more, whenever the people that are used to you being a certain way see you changing, you are likely to face criticism. You are likely to lose friends. That is an unfortunate side effect to the growth process. People like familiarity. And when you start acting and thinking different, you're breaking their familiarity patterns, and people generally do not like that. But as has been said over and over again, if you lose friends because you were growing, those were not your friends to begin with. Okay. I had a good question from earlier, and now I don't remember what the hell it was, Persephone.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. What could it be? I'm scrolling through here just to see. what's going on. Okay, that's my question. I'll take the audience question. Would Venezuela be just in responding with force to Trump's attacks on them? Would Venezuela be just in responding with force to Trump's attacks on them? Please go to YouTube and answer those questions. Please do so because it helps with the algorithm. I really, really need you to do that. Please do so. Persephone, say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
Now tell me that wasn't sexy. All right. For now, this is the Capital America, whatever it is, the Capitalist Corner. We're going off the air. Be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock. I'm going to try to get Jim Valiant here with me. If not, I'll roll solo. Tomorrow, it's open questions anyway. Should be great. In honor of the great Mark Pellegrino. Until tomorrow, remember to always check your premises. Peace.